Good morning. It is Saturday, second to last day before my trip is done. I don't even know what day it would be. 8, perhaps. Anyway, I don't know if I mentioned in my last video, but when I got to the shelter last night, that was officially 200 AT miles for my 2024 through hike attempt. So that's exciting. What wasn't exciting were the 3 people that showed up at like 8:45 who were talking full volume until I don't even know when I ended up putting in my earplugs, because at one point I saw it was like 9:30, 9:45, and they were still just chatting. Way past hiker midnight. Come on, peeps. That's what earplugs are for. So then I was able to fall asleep. But yeah, I thought I had downhill to start my day today, but I'm currently going uphill. So I need to check on that. But yeah, it's like a 13-mile day today to Manassas Gap Shelter. It's 7:50. I left camp about 5 minutes ago, but should be a good day. It's supposed to be sunny, mid-60s. Yeah, good day, so I'll check in later. There are just so many Virginia bluebells to greet me on trail this morning. It's never ending. Makes for a happy morning. They're up a trail too. Alright, so I'm about 0.5 miles from another game of Frogger that I get to play. Supposedly it's another like challenging road crossing that you have to run across 4 lanes of traffic. Again, I think there's a median halfway between. But it is a Saturday morning, so it's going to be a little bit more challenging, I think, than my other one. But yeah, I just encountered 3 off-leash dogs that all started barking at me and running towards me. And like, if any of you know me, you know I am the world's like biggest dog lover. I love dogs with all of my being, but I am like in the camp that if your dogs bark at people and don't necessarily have the best recall, that you should only take them out leashed, because like, I don't know, like, yeah, you might know that they're friendly and aren't gonna hurt somebody, but when you have 3 big dogs that are all barking and running at a stranger, like, you have to understand how that looks and how that can feel for the stranger, right? Like, please just keep your dogs leashed if they like bark and charge people and don't have the best recall, because no one wants to be scared on trail that they're going to get bit by a dog. Again, I love dogs with my whole heart. That's my PSA of the day. This isn't the first time it's happened on this trip, and I don't like to take people's word for it that, oh, they're friendly. Like, are they? So anyway, I'll see if I can film my game of Frogger crossing this road, but I might not, depending on what the situation looks like. But I'm about 3.25 miles in for the day, and after this road crossing I have like a 3-mile long uphill. It's gradual, I think, but it's just a slog. So see you soon. All right, well, I made it across the road perfectly fine. It's not that super busy out, apparently, at 9 a.m. on a Saturday. But the bad news is the other side of the trail there was like this vine overhanging, or not vine, but like branch overhanging the trail, and I didn't think anything of it. I just like pushed through it. Well, apparently there was thorns on it, and I got stuck on my tent. So hopefully there's no holes on my tent. Alright, hey everyone. Haven't been filming a lot today. Sorry, I've been listening to a book and just kind of getting in the zone. I'm 8¼ miles in for the day. I just passed the junction for Whiskey Hollow Shelter. I was thinking about cutting off down there to go check it out and to take like a little break, but it's 0.3 miles off trail, and I think it's also downhill from the looks of it, so I didn't really want to. Plus it's a little too early for lunch. It's only like 11. But yeah, my day, like I mentioned earlier, is like 13 miles. So I only have about 5 miles left. I should be there pretty early, which I don't really mind. You know, the thought crossed my mind that I could push to Jib and Melly Denton Shelter. That would make my day, I think, like 18 miles. That I don't necessarily feel like I want to do that. Also because Jordan is picking me up tomorrow in Front Royal, but he is hiking in and meeting me on trail. So if I was at Jib and Melly Denton Shelter, I'd only have 5 miles to hike on Sunday, which wouldn't allow him to hike very far with me. So I have no idea where the trail goes right here. Hold please. I think I'm just gonna keep my plan, stick to it, take advantage of getting to camp early again, rest my legs, hang out, get a good camp spot. It is a Saturday also, so you know, if I was to roll into Jib and Melly Denton at like 5 or 6 p.m., it's possible the tent pads would be full. So the earlier I can get to a shelter, I guess the better for a Saturday. But yeah, just gonna stick with the plan. I will check in with you here at some point later. Bye. All right, I am less than half a mile from the shelter, Manassas Gap Shelter. I'm just at 12.6 miles for the day. It's only 12:50-ish, so I'll be at the shelter by 1, which is early. Just gonna stop here as planned, get a good spot to set up my tent, and hang out the rest of the night. It's my last night on trail. I am ready to go home. It's been a good week. I've had great weather. It only sprinkled slightly last night. My tent was dry when I woke up. So yeah, I've had a good trip, and I will come back and do like a follow-up on all the goals that I set in an early video on this trip to let you know like closing thoughts on all those goals. I'll either do that tonight or tomorrow while I'm hiking. So I'll check in with you once I'm at the shelter, and yeah, see you there. All right, so I'm here at Manassas Gap Shelter. The shelter is down this trail here, and the far out guide says that there's several spots along the trail for tenting. And I found 2, and one is underneath what appear to be a bunch of dead trees. So I don't necessarily want to set up there because it is supposed to be still like 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts tonight. There's this spot here that I found, but the trail is literally right there. And then there's a spot across the trail, just directly across from the shelter cutoff, that has like a fire ring and some like wood benches made that I could set up over there. I don't love being like visible from the main trail, but I think that's what I'm gonna have to do because my only other options are to walk further and hope for a stealth site, or keep walking to Jib and Melly Denton, which I didn't mentally prepare for 18 miles today. So I'm going to go sit over by this campfire for a minute and think about my options. I don't want to linger too long and wait setting up my tent. Ugh. since there are very limited sites. But yeah, I'll let you know what I decide. All right, so I briefly considered hiking 3 more miles to like, I don't want to call it a stealth campsite because it is on far out, but it's just south of I-66 and apparently has a lot of road noise and can get big groups of people at it. It sounds like partying, and since it's a Saturday, that is a likely scenario. And you have to do a bear hang, which, I mean, I haven't had to do one this whole trip, so doing one is not a big deal, but I would have to climb another 300 or 400 feet, which I'm not psyched about. So I think I'm gonna stay here. So again, here is the trail, like along here, the sign for the shelter. And so I'm on the AT, I cut left. This is the Bluebells to the shelter, and I'm gonna set up right here. So I'll be visible from trail, but the other tent options down the way aren't ideal. Okay, here is the shelter. I just walked up to take another look to see what tent sites are up here. And yeah, I think the 2 options I was considering are my best bet. The spring is down this trail here. I'll come back and get water later, I think, or actually maybe I should do it now. That way I'm not leaving all my stuff up next to trail. But there's a bear pole right there. And then the privy is down that path past the shelter. So I guess I will go get watered now. I'm just gonna carry everything down, just in case there happens to be a good tent spot down here. I doubt it, but all right. I'll show you my final tent pitch once I get everything up and figure out where the heck I want to camp. All right, I think that's the best we're gonna do. All right, everyone, I am in my tent at Manassas Gap Shelter. If any of you have been here, you know that this shelter is like kind of small. The shelter sleeps 6, and the tent sites, there's only really like 3 or 4 along the trail into the shelter. And anyway, it's 6 p.m. and a Boy Scout troop of like 25 kids just rolled in. And as they were going in, the group leader was like, oh, we just have to find a spot big enough for all of us. And I was like, sir. So I'm in my tent right now, just hoping that one of these kids doesn't try to like squeeze their tent in right on top of mine, because I really don't want to share my spot. Like, I got here early, I planned ahead, I had a backup plan. Wish me luck, because they're also going to probably be loud and up late and not respect the hiker midnight. I'll check in tomorrow. Good night, everybody.